great things about John Henry is his spirit, and his purpose, and his motivation. And he is the guy that this club exists because he always been kind of the spinal cord of the club. He's always watching and supporting and coming up with new ideas. And for me, it has been a great motivator. I consider him somebody that I respect highly, and it's like my mentor. When sometime I need something, I go to John Henry. Like last night, I couldn't print the damn thing, so I called John Henry. See how it is today? My computer
still couldn't print it.
One page, so it has it 2 pages. Thanks to John Henry. Let's go to John Henry. He's going to give us another educational speech. Welcome, John.
6 to 8 minutes. So these are canned speeches for those of you unfamiliar with Toastmaster education speeches. And I refuse to do a canned speech, so I'm going to stick to this topic, which is creating the best club climate. Creating the best club climate. Our club, if you're a guest with us, you won't know this, but for those of you who are new or have been here for a while, we are one of the most premier, we are the premier club in the District 15 area. District 15 is Utah and Idaho and the some surrounding areas, so like 2.25 states. And we are a premier club. We stand apart. How many visited another Toastmasters club? A few of us. And how did it compare?
Boring.
Boring.
No comparison.
Yeah, it just doesn't stand up.
There's something unique about this club, and I think it has a lot to do with the demographics. People who move to Park City want to live here, and they tend to be very self-motivated, and that shows up in our club meetings. We have a lot going for us. Our membership is really high. It's larger than most clubs. Our meetings tend to be more dynamic. We've achieved a lot of awards. We've won a lot of competitions. There are a lot of things going for us. That said, we're an extremely healthy club, but we can't rest in that and assume that we got it all right, because we don't have it all right. So today I want to facilitate a discussion about what are we doing right and what could we improve upon. I want to break this into 3 categories, and we could break it into different categories, but for today we're going to do 3. The first one is logistics. The second is assimilation. And I need the grammarian's help on this.
I-L-A-I-T-I-O.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last is dynamics. And we do some things good, and some areas we need to improve upon. Could I get an assistant that's a good good at writing? Anyone want to volunteer? All right, you're stuck with me then.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll talk with my back to you, and I don't want to do that. So, what do we do good what are we strong at with our club? Well, let me explain these first. Logistics, think of the behind the scenes or before the meeting activities. Assimilation is someone like Howard comes through the door. How do we assimilate them? How do we get them from an uninitiated, uninformed person who may not know anything about Toastmasters to someone who wants to join, gets involved, and understands what we're doing? That's assimilation. And dynamics is what takes place here in the meeting that makes it exciting and worthwhile to show up every week. So what do we do good, and how can we improve? In any area. Sure.
I would say for assimilation, one of the things that I noticed about this group, and I think it's consistent with the guests that come in, is that everybody is very friendly, very welcoming. With Park City, I think there's a lot of perception that people can be pretentious, and
Right.
there's none of that here. And I think that really helps with the assimilation. Guests feel very welcome and are encouraged to join and participate.
That's good. As far as logistics, what do you think well, go ahead, we'll just operate.
Tuesday, Toastmasters, 7 o'clock, Richard's building. It's set, not quite in stone, but pretty consistent, very consistent.
Meaning we start on time and
Start on
people know
time.
they can depend. That'd be a logistics thing, so dependability.
Dependability, okay.
I think we've always had great sergeant in arms who, whether it's Fred or David, people who've been willing to come at 6:30 or 6:40 and get everything set up before the rest of us who don't get out of bed quite as early. We walk in and everything is ready to go.
I was just telling Fred that again this morning. I said, you do such a great job setting the place up so we're ready to go. That makes a difference. You come up here and none of this is set up, because usually it isn't. It's chaos.
Our speakers are very interesting. We learn so much about people, both personally, professionally. So the dynamics of the meeting are something that are very interesting and
Interesting speakers.
interesting speakers. Even if they're not totally well developed in their speech, they're there and they don't make excuses. You know, we've got a lot of people that show up and step up.
So let's do at least one more here and one more here, and then let's move into this category. So
I don't know what it covers, but it's something that I've been to several competitions around. I've been to several. I've got friends in like several different clubs. We always have a theme. We always know what that theme is. Then there's a word of the day, and this is the only club I know that is doing that. And it's consistent. I mean, again, it's consistent. I mean, I know we're going to come. You start at 7. You have, I mean, it's just ping, ping, ping in order, and it all comes. The table topics, I know it's going to be about. My friends club, you don't know what they're going to ask. They could ask anything on any subject on anything. You know, and here we know it's going to be to deal with the theme. I just think it's neat. You learn a lot.
that's good.
Except today, there's no word of the day.
Well, I have one. I'm table Toastmaster, so
Okay.
the grammarian was a fill-in, so
No problem.
I got it covered.
Bing. Anything else you want to throw up here that we do well?
I would say we fill things in on the fly very well.
We're good improvers.
So add in there dynamics that we're efficient, maybe? Elizabeth, you were say something?
With the assimilation, I experienced, even though I don't have per se the mentor, anybody I called, even if it's just the day before a speech, to have it read through and is always responding positively. There has never been like, oh, I don't have time, or even listen. You know, everybody is
So that might be under logistics behind the scenes. People are approachable.
approachable, right? Definitely.
So where can we improve? Where do you see the weakness of our club? Sherry.
Fill in roles before.
We do it quickly, but we should do it ahead of time.
Yeah.
So getting the schedule filled, it's an area we improve upon. What else?
Well, this is the constant theme, but the mentoring that Elizabeth talked about, I think we could do a better job on follow-up in that department, including me.
In what way specifically?
Well, in the past, we'd have assigned mentors and then following up, making sure that relationships are established, and at least an email or if somebody reached out to a guest.
Oh, so the other thing we have over here in logistics is the Google page.
That's good, yeah. So improvement, maybe with assimilation, I think?
Yes.
Okay, is mentoring we could improve upon?
I know for me, when I was new, you assigned me my first 2 speeches, and that really prompted me to get out there and
Just
practice.
put you on the schedule.
And putting me on the schedule
Was good.
mandated that I needed to do that.
I recall that happening too, and that was very helpful.
And that is helpful.
Well, running out of time, and we see we do a lot of things right, but we can afford to improve upon our scheduling and mentoring, either formally or informally, and help us with assimilating people. Thanks for your input, and this just reminds us that we do a lot of things right, but we can't rest in that. We gotta stay sharp and diligent and work on a few things to be, and continue to be a very strong club.
Can we have a practice in the club that we take like a minute to send a little note to John, look, tell him there's something that you like his presentation, or you don't like his presentation, because I allow him to do it.
Okay.
So send a little note to John.